Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Memphis Grizzlies have fired head coach Taylor Jenkins, who has been their coach for the last 6 seasons, going back all the way to the 2019-20 season, and the team has gone 250 and 214 in Jenkins' tenure. They've gone to the playoffs 3 separate times in his 6 seasons, and this would be a 4th season in the postseason for Jenkins, as the Grizzlies are 44 and 29 currently, and sitting at the 5 seed in the West, and most likely will stay in a top 6 seed in the Western Conference, and will be a top 6 seed in the playoffs, which means they'll be in the playoffs again. And Jenkins would have been his 4th postseason in 6 seasons with the Grizzlies, and instead now he's being fired. Now, the Grizzlies have been struggling recently. Since February 3rd, they only have one win against teams that are have a winning record, and that one team that they beat were the Dallas Mavericks that had 8 players missing. So yes, I know they've been struggling recently, but they're still 44 and 29, and going into the playoffs is, I don't think, the right time to get rid of your head coach. Look, honestly, I think this is probably one of the dumbest things I've seen in the NBA this year. I think this is probably one of the dumbest fires I've seen ever, because I don't think it's terrible that they fired him, because there's been struggles. Really, there has been. And if you look at it this way, yes, he's gone to the playoffs 3 times with his team in 5 seasons. Five seasons that he could go to the playoffs, would be 4 in 6 seasons if they would have just kept him this year. But they've never gone to the conference finals or the NBA finals with him as their head coach. That's they made it to the Western Conference semifinals in the 2021-22 season, and lost to the Warriors in the semifinals, mainly because of Ja Morant injury. But yeah, so they've never made it to the conference finals or NBA finals in Jenkins' time as being the head coach for the Grizzlies. But the thing I look at is, you're going to be in the playoffs. I think the smartest thing for the Grizzlies to do with this whole scenario, this whole situation, would be, all right, you got 9 games left in the regular season. Let the season play out. You're in the playoffs, probably as the 5 seed, playing the 4 seed, most likely one of the Lakers, Nuggets, or Rockets. And if you lose in the first round for the 3rd time in Taylor Jenkins' time as a head coach with this Grizzlies team, you let him go. I don't think there's any difference of firing him now than firing him after the playoffs are over, because the Grizzlies, I think, would be better off having Jenkins in the playoffs as their head coach. Look, you're going to have an interim take over, who is not as experienced as Jenkins, and hasn't been leading this team for 6 seasons, and that's going to be different to deal with. And you don't know how some of these players are going to feel that Taylor Jenkins is no longer with the team. It's going to be a weird situation. I don't see the Grizzlies doing well at all in the play. I didn't really think they do well before, but I still thought that they would be a hard team to beat in the playoffs, because they play hard defensively and they shoot well from 3. Do I think that potentially changes even though Jenkins was fired? I don't know, but I thought Taylor Jenkins did a great job leading this Grizzlies team, and this is the wrong time to fire him leading into the playoffs. And I think if you would have told me Taylor Jenkins was fired with the way the Grizzlies started off their season, and I probably would have said, okay, Taylor Jenkins is fired, that means they lost in the first round again, and they're firing him. That makes sense. But if you would have told me, okay, Taylor Jenkins gets fired, and this happens 9 games before the postseason starts, I would have been shocked. Like I said, I think if they would have waited to after the postseason, I think this would have been a smart move for the Grizzlies. But I'm not a big fan of this decision to fire him at this time. And yeah, like I said, I think this is one of the dumbest moves I've seen in the NBA this season. You look outside the Luka trade, the Luka AD trade. This is right there with that. It's not even close. But this is like one of those this is one of the dumbest things I've seen happen in the NBA this year outside of the Luka trade that we saw a couple months ago. It makes no sense why they would fire him at this time. I know there's struggles recently, but still I think the wrong time. And now he's the favorite to end up in Philadelphia if Philly decides to fire Nick Nurse. So let me know your thoughts on the firing of Taylor Jenkins in the comment section, and peace out.